Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. What's today? Today is the 10th of March, 2014, and what I wanted to do is share with you all a presentation that I created earlier, latter part of last week, about how to create the confidence level. I think we'd all agree that if our business partners, including ourselves, if our confidence level was high, that we were experiencing good results, wouldn't that show us that we can be successful at this, right? So if the confidence level is high early on by us teaching and showing our business partners as they engage with us in Jusuru exactly what they need to be doing, then the outcome is going to be incredible. So how is it that we create confidence for ourselves and all of our teams to come is really the question that I put to myself, and I think you'll enjoy what I've got here to share. So what I like to tell everybody is, when I sign them up, at the time that I sign them up, knowing that they're a business partner, there's somebody that wants this income, I tell them, I'm going to protect your business before you even have a business. And it's a very telling statement, because what's that letting them know is that this is serious. This is serious, and what we're doing is real. And that we're going to make sure that they're not alone, nor do they have to do this by themselves. And an even better part of this message is what an incredible way to lead people by showing them how protective we're going to be, how important their success is to us. And so initially when somebody signs up with us and we sit down and we know that they want this business and they want this income and we tell them this statement, isn't that somewhat comforting? That we're not going to let them do this wrong? They may still decide to do it wrong, but we're going to show them absolutely what they need to do. And for me, I believe that that's a wonderful example of leadership. And it shows those new people, as they're coming on board, that we mean business. And that as long as they're engaged and they're coachable, they'll have success as well. So how do we do it, right? Great, words are great, but how do we do it? Well, I don't let anybody call anybody that they know until several things are understood. The first one is I've got to know why they're doing this. I have to understand that. I have to understand what's going to emotionally cause them to continue to do this properly and engage effectively. I also must know what their time commitment is and their financial goals, short-term, mid-term, and long-term. These are things that allow us to connect with them, and that's what happens at the planning session. We start to connect with our team, with our new business partners, and getting to know them a little bit better, a little bit more intimately, and being able to understand what's going to keep them here. Because I can tell you, the only ones that fail are those that quit. Those that walk away will never succeed. Pretty basic statement. And most people that leave usually leave everything. So how can we get people to stay? Well, by understanding what it is that's going to cause them to stay. Why are they doing this? What's the financial reason compelling them to be a part of our business? Then what I'd like to do is I role play the recession script with me being the prospect and them being the IREP, the new business partner, and then role reverse it and then show them how gentle it can be and not as nerve-wracking as it appears to be to so many people. So by role-playing back and forth, getting them a little bit better, it takes that document and turns it into a living, breathing document that has incredible value. Okay, so role-playing is such an important part of all of our training, but more importantly, building the belief bucket. All right, I love to go over the overcoming objections because there are 7 that we hear regularly. And if we show them that we know what's coming and we have articulate, educated responses to those objections that are not defending, that are a tool, that we can now educate that prospect, because when we defend, that becomes argumentative. Right, so we go over those objections together, and they got it printed out. They can have it in their hand when they make phone calls. That's what we did. We used to have laminated stuff all over the desk, so it was at the ready when we needed it. Then I want you to drive the point home. What are they going to say to those who try talking them out of Jusuru? Ask them. Don't put words in their mouth. Ask them what they're going to say, and then work with it. And ask them to truly commit to that. These are such important little idiosyncrasies of this business, nuances that get overlooked time and time again. But what we're doing is we're taking that new IREP and we're positioning them for strength, for success. Strength in that they're able to overcome objections. Strength in that they're able to tell people that tell them that this industry doesn't work, that they're out of their mind, continuing to do something that is not working instead of trying something to make anything better, right? So that's what our goal is to give an empowerment to our new business partner in the form of tools and education that allows them to deliver an articulate message that's proven to work. So then what I'll tell them, once I've completed all that, I tell them again, I will protect your business before you have one, as it's my job to ensure that you're plugged in properly, which ultimately is going to yield the maximum results of our compensation plan. Folks, people love that. They love that because the reason they're joining, if you've invited them by the business, is to make an income. So by us driving that point home to them, that what we're going to do is make sure we're going to hold their hand. We're going to structure them. We're going to groom them to become a successful inviting machine. And then ask them this. If we assist you in getting this business going strongly for you, can you see how that would add confidence to you? Right? If we're helping people, we help them get their first 3 to 5 people in the business, and we're holding their hand through these processes. Can't you see how this would add confidence because we're not doing it alone? And wouldn't confidence cause excitement? And wouldn't friends and family be intrigued as to your newly found levels of confidence and excitement in a time when nothing is working and everybody's doom and gloom? You got to logically drive these points home. Okay, and once you explain to them how we're protecting their business by preventing them from talking to people until they know how, it clicks. It's logical. It makes sense. We didn't just tell them, don't call anybody. We told them why. You've got 20 to 30 people that are in your sphere of influence for the average person. If we allow them to go out and speak to 20 to 30 people and they all do it wrong, and they do it wrong for all 20 to 30 people, where's their confidence level? It's in the toilet, right? Because we allowed them to just go and do it how they wanted to do it, which may have been how you did it, right? So if we're all singing from the same sheet of music, imagine the complexion of your business 2 months from now, 3 months from now, a year from now, by attracting business-minded people who we absolutely morally have an obligation to in helping protect their business. So then what I'll do is, having done all the role-playing, gone over the overcoming objections, gone over their prospect list, then I'm going to tell them to make one phone call. Have small talk with that family member, that friend, that prospect that we've identified that needs the business. Guys, it's so easy to lead with the product, but you're just not going to build a thriving business that way. Then go into the recession script. Practice this with them just before they make that call. Coach them that if they get questions on the first call that they're making, because you're only giving them permission to make one call. That's it, one call. To defer those questions in this way. Bill, I'm so new, and while very excited, I'm committed in doing this properly. And that means I need to make the best first impression possible. My partners can answer any and all of your questions as they did mine. And can you allow me to connect us via a brief call to any one of them, any one of my business partners? I have 3 o'clock open today and 7 o'clock this evening. Which one works best for you? You'll find somebody that can support you for one of those 2 times, trust me. After that first call has happened, they need to call you immediately. So that the discussion is fresh in their head that they just had with that prospect. And then what I do is I'll ask, this is per Todd Smith, guys. This isn't Mike Lattuca Brilliance. This is Todd Smith. And he says to ask them, so what did you say to start the conversation about the invitation? How did they respond to that? And then what did you say? And what did they say? Go through the call, dissecting their first call, and then maybe ask them a question or two. Like maybe they got a little bit off target and started talking about the product. Well, did you feel like maybe you started to have to convince them because now you're telling them about a product? Did you feel now you were selling as opposed to helping them by providing a solution to the financial needs that they have? Because we've already identified they need it. Right? So make them better for the second call. And then do it again for the third call. By the time the third call is done, they've only gone through an estimated 10% of their sphere of influence. And now they're on fire. Now they're rock solid. They understand the pitfalls. They know what not to say. They know what to say. They know how little to talk. They know that they need to listen more. All of these result as a result of us as the sponsor stepping in and making sure that your commitment level as a sponsor is in line with what they need. Not with what you need, but in line with what they need for what they signed up for. And guys, I can tell you, the calls get better and better. By the end of their third call, when you review that with them, it's going to be a much more confident business partner that you're talking to than it was before they made the first call. But what would that relationship look like if you let them go out and just start calling 10 people a day? Okay, call 10 people a day and invite them over. Oof, aren't we setting them up for a huge failure? Right? What to say if somebody says, you know, Mike, this sounds like a pyramid scheme. What are they going to say to that if we haven't gone over the overcoming objections? Right? Feel, felt, found. I understand how you feel, Bill. I once felt the same way, but here's what I found. I've done a lot of education on this industry. Would you like to know what I've learned? Right? So we can overcome objections by educating our prospects. Never defend. When you defend, you're argumentative and you're done. What I do is I ask questions. When somebody has something negative to say, I'll ask them, what other experiences have you had with network marketing? Until they get to a point where they have nothing else to say. And I wouldn't have defended anything that they would have said. But that only happens as a result of us educating our new business partners and protecting them and their business before they even have one. So there's some general coaching notes that you need to be aware of. They should already understand philosophically what might happen on that call, because if we don't show them the difference from leading with the business versus leading with the product, right, we've got to logically explain to them and use the prescription analogy. If you're new and you don't know what that is, ask your sponsor, but I'll explain it here briefly. We know that when we have a pain and we go to a doctor and we get pain medication and we go to Safeway or Rite Aid or CVS or Walgreens, we usually have a bottle of water in our hand waiting for that prescription to come over the counter. And we're diligent about taking that prescription, right? We even sometimes might take it early if we're not having the results that we want. But what happens the moment we feel better? This is human nature, guys. This isn't, this is exactly what happens. It's why doctors are so frustrated with patients that don't finish prescriptions, because as soon as they feel better, they stop taking it. And I think everybody here could agree to that we've all done that at one time or other. So when you lead with the product, that's the result you're going to get. They're going to feel better in 60 days. They're going to go in and shut it off. And they're not going to take your phone call because they know you're calling to ask them, why did you shut it off? Had you led with the business, you would never have that issue, because you led knowing that you're going to financially help them. And by having the moral obligation that I share, that I'm telling you that we must have, in helping them get to where they need to be financially, you'll never lose them. You've got a partner for life. They've got to understand how much time they're willing to invest and share that with us. And again, business partners stay while consumers most of the times go. They should already have their order shipped pre-15th of the month. If they joined on the 10th, move it back to the 7th so that the shipping doesn't leave them with a period of time that they're not consuming. But from a business perspective, we need to know where our business is 2 weeks into the month, not 3 weeks and 6 days into the month. Launch their business, that scheduled launch is in stone. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're calling for, is to invite people to either their launch or to a three-way call with their business partners, which at that point is our job as the business partners to get on the line and invite them to Bill's launch. Okay, but a lot of times they're not going to have resistance if they do this right. Right, here's the recession script for those that haven't heard it. You know, Bill, the recession absolutely beat me and Rachel up terribly. Horribly, and so many people I know and care about. Has it impacted you in even the slightest of ways? And let them go on. And trust me, if they're honest, everybody's been impacted in even the slightest of ways. And allow them to talk. Because this is the time where you need to really be quiet, listen to what they're saying, because they're going to tell you exactly why they need this. Then at that point, once they've slowed down and you're able to enter the conversation again, say, you know, Bill, I agree. It's horrible out there, but a group of us have found something that's making a lot of financial sense in a time when very little is. Can you move your schedule around and come on over for an hour this Thursday night? I'm launching my new business, and I want to invite and include you. Now, in that script, I have not talked about the product, the business, the industry, or anything. All I did was appeal to the fact that Bill shared the recession has had an impact on him and his family, and I'm letting him know that we found something that's working in a time when very little is. Pretty cool, right? Pretty easy. Then what I'm going to do is make sure that step 1 and 2 are in the books. We've done them. As a result of their planning session, step 1 should have been done before they got there. We're going to review their step 1 answers and information, and then I'm going to introduce them strongly to step 2, which is the inviting, right? Because now we want them to start calling. And as soon as they understand it, as soon as they can put their arms around it, and as soon as we can manage that whole process by showing them the logic, and guys, that's the strength of what it is that I do, is the training has to be understood by everybody. And how do we do that? Well, the more logical it is, the more sense it makes. So I feel I have to tell everybody why things don't work so they don't try to recreate the wheel, as well as telling them why things do work to show them the result of plugging in effectively. So you might want to consider that as part of your training style, but that's mine. Things to watch for. Are they doing what they said they would do? Right? Are they late to phone calls? Are they not coming to meetings? Are they not showing up on webinars, conference calls? Have they shown up at the planning session ready to work? That's why I love printing out step 1 and giving it to them when I sign them up. And tell them this is their worksheet until the planning session. Fill it out. Go through it. Make notes. Prospect list is there. Go through it all. Because when they show up at the planning session, isn't it a good way of knowing how serious they are based upon what they bring? What if they have nobody filled out in the prospects? Right? What if they didn't take pictures, 90-day before and after pictures? What if they haven't identified their discomfort levels? Well, what does that tell you? They're not that serious. So then where is your time going to be invested? In somebody that's not serious and trying to convince them to be? Or in those that are salivating for it? Okay? Are they taking your calls, texts, emails? Are they allowing you to groom them? Gently, but based upon their time commitment, based upon what their why is, are they allowing you to act accordingly? If the answer is yes, which in most cases, it will be somewhere in the middle. Okay, so because not everybody knew about Jasura before, and all of a sudden we're making this a large part of their life going forward. So we've got to be somewhat flexible with that mentality. But if the answer is yes, then push them into a volunteer position at meetings. Push them into being a part of a luncheon or sitting in on a meeting so they can learn more. Edify them to their young teams, letting them know that the actions that they're doing is consistent with becoming a strong leader in this business. And what if they're not doing it? What if they're not doing what they said that they needed to do? Revert back to their why. That's exactly why we need to emotionally understand the why. What's going to cause them to stay? So we can say to them, hey, Bill, last conversation I recall was you needed this because you and your siblings were going to be paying, you guys were all going to be chipping in to take care of your mother's assisted care living. Where are you, man? The clock is running. Mom's moving in May. Let's get to work. But also, again, being sympathetic to the change that they're experiencing. Understanding and maybe offering to help them a little bit more as long as they're showing and representing they want this and that they are engaging at a level that you're happy with. Let them know that this is a business that you need to rely upon your partners that are committed. Let them 100% on you and see what the response is. Right? Maybe it's not rely on you 100%. Maybe you can rely on me 100% and I'll be there for whatever you want. And ask them, point blank, can I rely upon you? I need somebody to share this market with. I need an accountability partner. I need somebody that wants this as badly as I do, so that together we can enjoy this and blow this market up. Okay, so these are general items to watch for, but guys, I can tell you this. The higher the confidence level out of the gate by us protecting their business before they even have one, the higher the confidence levels will be as they continue to grow. And all the people that come in their business. Because if we're all doing it properly, we're all crossing the T's and dotting the I's, we're all getting to yes, and we're all doing it off the same sheet of music, ask yourself, what will your business look like in 3 months and 6 months? Right? If you signed up one business partner a month, and you had somebody in your team sign up one business partner a month, right? That's 2 the first month. Well, aren't we teaching those business partners to lead with the business and build a business? And aren't we going to help them get their product for free? And we're going to identify business partners for them? And we help them each get 3 business partners in? What happens the next month? Aren't we now helping those new venture 3s to help those 3 each get 3 each? And as soon as we engage the business strongly, effectively, by doing all of these little things that absolutely will cause success to occur, by them becoming confident, the results will be staggering. So if you're not happy where your business is today, would you consider changing it up a little bit? And if you will change it up a little bit, then as I like to say, happy birthday. Thanks everybody for being here.